I would not want to be shopping for a new car these days, at least not for these vehicles. Holy crap. All right, 10 new cars priced highest above MSRP. To find the best prices in your area, the lowest MSRPs, go to quotes.everymandriver.com, quotes.everymandriver.com. So despite an improving new supply chain for vehicles, the latest IC car study found that today's average new car price is 8.8% above MSRP. That's the average above MSRP, almost 9%. So they analyzed 12 million new car sales between February of last year and February of this year to find today's dealer pricing compared to MSRP, the trend over the past 12 months, and the top 10 cars priced highest above MSRP and the top 10 priced closest to MSRP. So here are the top 5 new cars priced highest over MSRP, the ones to avoid by all costs. So number 5, Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, almost 22% over MSRP. So the average price $55,000. Average MSRP is $45,000, so $10,000 over. Porsche Taycan, 22.7%. If you can afford a $100,000 vehicle, maybe the $122,000 is not a big deal. Mercedes-Benz GLB, 22.9%. Another one was 22.7%. Normally 41, about $50,000. Jeep Wrangler, 24%. Geez, normally 35 on average. Right now, average price $44,000. I'll have a link to the study below this video, but the big takeaways so far, the gap between the average MSRP and dealer asking price dropped from last year's high of 10.2%. You don't care, right? Because now it's 8.8%, even though it's lower. Asking price and MSRPs both remain near record highs at 41.6 and 45.2 respectively. Jeep Wrangler is the number 2 highest priced car above MSRP. That's a big takeaway. The Silverado 1500 is the number 1 lowest priced car relative to MSRP, about 1.9% below MSRP. And now here is a big picture view of monthly average dealer price versus average MSRP of new cars according to their study over the last 12 months. So see how it kind of started at 9.9% last year at this time. So the average MSRP back then was 38, but the average price was actually 42.5. Small rise, stayed pretty steady in the low 10s, and then began to drop down. But the average MSRP actually went up, as well as the average price over the last 12 months. Again, you can see the full study for a more in-depth look at this data, but I get these on a regular basis, the studies from iccars.com, which is a great resource to see what's going on, and they do a lot of digging, and I'm able to share that with you here. But so getting new cars these days, yes, the deals are out there. Here's the ones to avoid. Fortunately, that price is starting to slow down in terms of how much over MSRP. They're still charging over MSRP, which is ridiculous. A supply chain, all that BS. But there are deals out there because last year's inventory in some categories, some makes and models are not moving. They overproduced, or the vehicles just aren't as popular as they used to be. So the deals are out there. That's why I always say go to quotes.everymandriver.com. And I've done those videos where you can see whether it's Fords, Rams, or whatever's, they're not selling. Like Jeep was having a big challenge selling some of their SUVs last year's models because, well, for one thing, the prices were too high last year, and now these older models are back to a reasonable price. So be smart. Be willing to buy last year's model. In some cases, these models have not been updated, redesigned. They may have a couple of, cosmetic things that are changed, whether it's a color scheme, a new trim level, but the vehicle is mostly the same from last year's model. So if it's not a complete redesign or some small remodels, it's fine. It's still a good quality vehicle. They're still making that vehicle, just a couple tweaks and turns here. So settle for 2022 and get the better prices versus a 2023. The deals are out there. Here's some food for thought when it comes to automotive recalls in 2022. Recalls decreased 12.6% in 2022 compared to 2021. The sector also experienced a 10.3% decline in the number of units recalled, marking a 9-year low. And here are your numbers for the most recalls last year by brand and by numbers. Ford takes the cake. 72 recalls in 2022, impacting more than 9 million vehicles. Tesla had 21, impacting 4.1 million. General Motors, 34 recalls, 3.4 million vehicles impacted. Chrysler, Fiat, Stellantis, about the same. Nissan, 16 recalls, impacting about 2 million vehicles. If you combine Hyundai and Kia, they had 50 recalls, impacting about 3 million. If you break that up, it's about half and half. Mercedes, 35 recalls, impacting 1.4 million cars. Volkswagen had 47, 1.1 million vehicles. And BMW had 26 recalls, impacting just over 1 million vehicles. And here's what's ahead or forecasted for 2023. Electric vehicles remain a key focus in the automotive industry. Regulators and lawmakers in 2023, as the U.S. continues to move toward a zero-emission future. Manufacturers may also find their vehicles' smart features the target of new regulations as cybersecurity becomes a greater threat in increasingly connected vehicles. With experts recommending that industry standards should be developed, regulators may begin to work on this task in 2023.
Thanks for watching. Please click subscribe and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.